Hi everyone. Today Salesforce Consulting Admin Training Day 14. So let's see what are we going to learn today. Today's agenda will quickly go through the previous session overview, and then we'll talk about a reason that cannot have a delete user button in Salesforce. And then we'll talk about the profiles. What are the profiles and what is the standard profiles? How many are there and what are the properties of profile? And what is the navigation steps to create a profile and how to create a new profile. And we'll talk about the requirement, real-time requirement, and we'll see how to create a profile, how to edit a profile. And while editing, what are the options can we see it, and the profile view. What are the different ways we can see the profile? And what is the difference between the user and profile? Then finally, we'll see about user profile license. Once again, we will talk about that. And then we'll have a conclusion, quiz, homework, today's interview. Now, quickly, what did we learn yesterday?
How to create
user
license of profile and role.
Password policies.
Password policies, and reset password.
Development.
We have seen the development admin, what is his work, and what are the issue types in Jira and in ServiceNow and TFS. And then we have seen a requirement, then we have seen the users in Salesforce and navigation steps into the users and how to add multiple users, right? How to reset the password. Is there any password policies for the org? And what else we have seen? Freeze user.
Role.
Delete user.
Deactivate.
Deactivating user.
Delete user.
Deactivate user. We have discussed everything about the user yesterday. Now today we are going to focus on, let's start. So yesterday the question was, what was the reason that we do not have a delete button on the user whenever we go to the user level? So for example, if I go to the home and if I click on users, and when I click on user, okay, so it will give the list of users and we do not have any delete button here, as well as whatever we have created yesterday, we cannot see the delete button. Now, what is the reason why we do not have a delete button there? The reason is whenever the user is created in the system, as soon as the user is created, user is connected to the specific role and certain level of access in the Salesforce database. That means as soon as I create a user in Salesforce, right, that user will be creating the records, that user will be creating the flows, that user doing some action. So whether the user is there for a week or for a month or for years, doesn't matter, but the person is or the user is doing certain updates, certain data, or if it is a development user, they are working on the development task. Now, if I delete a user in the Salesforce, what happens is as soon as I delete the user, whatever the particular user has done, maybe he has developed certain scenarios or he has updated the records, all the data will be deleted. Along with the deleting the users, all the data related to whatever the user has done, everything will be deleted. So that means all the related data and entire data will be corrupted inside the database. That is the reason we do not have a delete button in Salesforce. Instead of that, we are doing the deactive option. So that what will happen, though the user is not there, though the user is not there, still I can see that, okay, for example, this person is created. Now this user is not there, right? So, but still I can see the data that is created by this user, right? Right, and not evenly the records, it is in the data or the development flows, anything the user has done, everything I can see without corrupting it. So that's the reason Salesforce came up with the option called deactivate instead of deleting the user. Now, before I move on the profiles, any questions on the delete user? Okay. Now, we are going to see about the profile. Profiles, yesterday we have discussed the basic, what is the profile? So profile determines what user can do in Salesforce. What user can do in Salesforce. Now, that means profile is the main one. The basic is whenever we create a user, profile defines what user can access. Because here entirely the profile is playing a role. Whenever I create a user, whatever the profile is there, right? The basic thing is a profile is playing a main role controlling the data inside the Salesforce org. This profile is controlling the data, what user can do, controlling accessibility of Salesforce data and its related action. Everything is controlled by the profile. Now, profile has two types of profiles. The first one is standard profile and the second one is custom profile. So profile has two types. One is a standard profile and second one is a custom profile. Now, profile is like we have a standard profile. Standard profiles is provided by the Salesforce. By default, these standard profiles will be available in the system, which is provided by the Salesforce. And we cannot delete the standard ones. We cannot delete the standard ones. Whatever the standard profiles are there, those I cannot delete it. There won't be option called delete option. And each of these standard ones included with default set of permissions. That means each standard profile will have a specific set of permissions. That as soon as if I allocate that particular profile to the user, then that user will start seeing the different information, what are the profile level we have access, right? Only those information or those data the user can see. Now, whereas custom profiles is the one which we are creating it. The one which we are creating it. When I say we are creating is nothing but admin team or dev team or whoever the internal Salesforce team is there. We are creating the custom profile based on the client requirement. Based on client requirement, we are creating the custom profile. Now they can be deleted. The one which we are creating, in case if you feel that, okay, this particular profile we have created it, but right now the client says that they do not need this profile. The one which we have created a custom profile, right now client says that we do not need this particular custom profile. So what we can do is we can delete probably org. But before deleting the custom profile, we need to check, is there any user associated it? Is there any user associated it? So basically when we go to the profile level, we will see two types of profile. One is standard profile, another one is custom profile. Standard profile and the second one is a custom profile. Now client came back. Client gave a requirement saying that we need a custom profile. Assume that there is a ABC custom profile. ABC custom profile. they want us to create. Now we have created this profile. Now this profile is allocated for certain users. For example, in our org, we have a user 1, user 1, and then we have user 2, user 3. Now these users, okay, we have created the users in the system, as well as we have created the custom profile in the system. And now this is as per the client requirement, we have done it. User 1, user 2, user 3, we have created as per the client requirement. And now client says that assign this custom profile to the user. Fine, we will assign the custom profile to all the 3 users. Now this is implemented, we deliver to the production. After 4 months, assume that after 4 months, client came back saying that we do not need ABC profile. Do not need ABC profile. So we don't want that profile. Not required this profile. So what, in case if they are saying that, okay, they do not want this profile. So what we have to do, we have to delete this particular profile, right? So there will be an option to delete this profile. But before deleting it, I should first check how many users are connected to this profile. First, I need to check how many users are connected to this profile. So we will see that, okay, there are 3 users are connected to this profile. That means the first thing is that we need to remove the connection. That means I need to remove the connection between the user and profile. So first I need to change those connections. That means I need to update the profile in the user level, or else you have to take out this connection. After deleting the link between the user and profile, then we have to delete this custom profile. Otherwise, when you are deleting it, it will say that, okay, there is a user is associated to this custom profile. You cannot delete it. So that's the reason first we need to remove the link between the user and profile, then you have to delete. Whereas in standard profile, we cannot delete. Standard profiles are, we cannot delete it. It's not possible to delete. So that is the differences between the standard profile and custom profile. Now coming to the standard profile. Just a second. Just give. So before moving on, any questions on the standard profile, custom profile?
Now, if there are only few users are there, means we can disconnect easily, ma'am. If multiple users are there, means how can we, ma'am?
There will be an option. Just hold on for that.
Okay.
Okay. So where can we see? So basically we have an option called here profiles. So as soon as they click on these profiles, you will see all the profiles here. Okay. Now, first, let's see what are the standard profiles. So standard profiles are, first one is a system administrator. So system administrator, that means has maximum permissions, and everything they can do it. Configuration, customization, accessing the app exchange, everything they can do it. So this is the highest permission. System admin permission is nothing but highest permission. They have all the access in the Salesforce. This is a standard profile. And there is another one, standard platform, one app user. So standard platform one app user is nothing but if I give a user this profile, if I assign this profile to the user, if I assign standard platform one app user profile to a single user. If I assign this profile, what will happen? It will give the permission to use one custom application. Only one custom application I can access. Only one custom application I can access. What is the custom application is nothing but basically if we installed multiple app exchange. For example, I have installed 3 app exchanges, or I have implemented something custom application. So I have installed the 3 app exchange and I have developed 2 custom applications. In that case, what will happen if I give this permission? If I give this permission, we can only allow one custom application. Either you can allow the one which you have implemented the custom application, or if you want the one app exchange is there, either one of them you can assign the custom application. And the next one which we have standard platform user. If I give a standard platform user, that means they can have access to the more than one custom applications. If, as I have explained previously, app exchange, if I have 3 app exchange installed in my system and 2 custom application which we have implemented, which we have developed, we can give all the access, all the custom application access to the users who are holding the profile called standard platform user. There is another one which is called standard user. Standard user is nothing but they have access to create, edit, records, but the one which they are owning it, the one which they have created. For example, if I have created 10 records and another user created the 10 records, right? I cannot see the person who has created the other 10 records of the other person. I cannot edit the other person, whoever is creating, I cannot edit. The one which I have created it, or where I have owned the record, I have owned the record, there will be an owner of field will be there. If I own the record, then only I can create, edit the records. Otherwise, I cannot edit. And also will have a permission to run Salesforce reports and view some kind of a setup. All the setup options will not be there. Only view some few information in the setup. And the next one, we have a customer community user. Customer community is a different part. So if I assign this profile to user, that means the user will be able to log into Salesforce community. There is a different part, Salesforce community. And if we want the user to access the Salesforce community, then we have to use the customer community and the partner community users. There are 2 types of community users, customer community user, partner community user. If we want any user that we wanted to give access to the community, there is a different org or different place where we say community. Okay, it's a different from the Salesforce. So it's a Salesforce community. There we can access our object, everything. So if you wanted to give a permissions to the Salesforce community, then we have to use either customer community or the partner community. Next one is solution manager. Solution managers is similar to the standard user. We have a standard users, right? So standard users are nothing but the one which they are owning the record. Those only they can create, they can edit, and whatever the actions are there, they can do it. But solution manager is similar to the standard user, but here additionally, they will have a more access to the solutions. They can publish specific solutions. We have a case solutions objects. So they can publish certain solutions or a specific solutions, these managers will be having a access. And then marketing user profiles are these profiles. If I'm assigning this profile to the user, that means if I want that particular user to allow the user to create or manage the marketing campaign, anything related to the marketing purpose, if I want the specific user to allocate them, then in that case, I will assign the profile called marketing user to the user. The second one, we have a contract user. The contract user profile. This profile is basically, it will allow user to create, edit, activate, and approve the contracts on the platform. On certain platform, if I wanted to do some kind of a modification or approving some contracts, there is some contracts happening between the client and customer, or client and other members, business to business or business to customer. Either one, the contracts are happening. In that case, if we need any kind of a approval or activating it or edit, create, in that case, I will assign a profile called contract user to the user. And the next one, we have a read only. Read only is nothing but as soon as I assign this profile, if I assign read only profile to the user, what will happen? User is only view the records. They cannot create a record. They cannot edit the record. They cannot delete the record. They are the person just viewing the record. No action will be done by that person. And next one is charter moderator user. So this profile, charter moderator user, is all about the charter. So standard charter people, if I wanted to give access to the profile, groups, files, and anything related to the charter, so we will assign the profile called charter moderate user. So these are the different standard profiles that we use in our real time. Like this, we have a different standard profiles. I have just mentioned only few of them, the one which we mostly use it in the real time. Okay, so far what we have seen the standard profile: system administrator, standard platform 1 app user, standard platform user, standard user, customer community user, platform community user, partner community user, solution manager, marketing user, contract user, read only, charter moderate user. These are the certain standard profiles. Now let's move on to the properties of profile. So properties of profile is, there are 38 standard profiles by default. Salesforce is giving 38 standard profiles by default. So far, whatever we have seen in the last slide, we have just seen only 10 or 12 profiles, but there are 38 standard profiles that are provided by Salesforce. And profiles cannot be created from scratch. If I have to create any profile, for example, as per the client requirement, if I wanted to create a profile, I cannot create a profile from the scratch. Instead of that, what we will be doing it, we will be creating a profile by copying the existing profile. Could be a standard profile, could be a custom profile. But as soon as I click on a new profile, what will happen? The first thing, system is going to ask me, which profile do you wanted to copy? Do you want to copy the standard profile or do you wanted to copy the custom profile? It will give the name of the profiles. So we have to clone that and create the new profile. We cannot create a profile from the scratch. Profiles are licensed dependent. Profiles are licensed dependent, right? So that means whenever we are creating a profile, the first thing it will ask, for which license do you wanted to create a profile? How it will ask? Whenever I click on a new profile, okay, whenever I click on a new profile, the first thing it will ask, existing profile name. When I take an existing profile name, automatically it takes the copy of existing profile license. Existing profile license, it will automatically copy to the new profile. Now, one user can have one profile. One user can have one profile. Whereas one profile can have a multiple users. That means I have a profile here. There is a one profile. So one profile is connected to the multiple users. This is one profile is connected to the multiple users. So user 1, user 2, user 3. If you look at from the profile perspective, we can connect one profile to the multiple users. But if you look at the user level, one user can connect to only one profile. One user can connect to one profile. So we have seen that yesterday, whenever we were creating the user, we can only select one profile. Now, what are the navigation steps to create a profile? Setup, administration, profiles. So in the administration, we have an option called profiles. So as soon as you click on a profiles, you will see the screen called, this is the screen you will see. And here, observe this, how many standard profiles are there? 38 standard profiles are there. 38 standard profiles are there. Now let's go to the Salesforce. Now here I have clicked on the administrator, users, clicked on the profile. Now if you see here, there are 38 profiles are there, right? So it is displaying 50 records. If I select the 50 records, by default it is showing 38 records. Now, how can I identify whether it is a custom profile or a standard profile? Whatever you see here, okay? Here there is an option called custom profile is there, right? By default, Salesforce is also giving the certain custom profiles, but those also we cannot. This is created by Salesforce. So, okay, so who has created? This is whenever I created my org, that time it is created. Okay, I have not created anything, this one. 12/28, that means the org creation date. When was the org created? Let's go and check the org. So Samskar IT 12/28, right? This is created on 12/28/2022, 2:13 AM. That's the same date. So I have not created anything. By default, Salesforce is giving the few custom profiles along with the standard profiles. Those are Salesforce profiles, which are related to the marketing profile, sales profile, support profile. Okay, if you wanted to delete, if you do not need this, you can delete it, these custom profiles. But this is by default, Salesforce is providing. I cannot uncheck this or I cannot make anything here. So these are, it is giving me the custom profiles, but you can identify here if there is a no checkbox, that means these are standard profiles. If there is any checkbox, that means those are custom profiles. So by default, Salesforce is giving the 38 profiles. 38 profiles. So some of them we have seen: the system administrator, standard platform user, solution manager, read-only, partner community user, and there is a customer community user, right? Customer community user. We have seen that contract manager, charter moderate users. So these are the few information which we have seen. Okay, so these are the navigation steps. Now let's go back to this slide. Any questions till now? so far? Still, there is a lot of the things are there, but so far, whatever we have discussed, is there any questions?
Hello.
Yes, Ram.
Madam, like one license, one profile or one user?
One, can you repeat that?
Active one license they created, like one profile or one user?
One
Yes.
license equal to one user.
Okay.
But the
Then
thing is that whenever
Hmm.
we are creating a profile, okay,
Hmm.
so let me open the existing one. When we create a profile, okay, when we are giving the profile, it will also give you the information for which license you are creating a profile. For which license you are going to create a profile. So I'll show you that whenever we are creating it. That doesn't depend on the number of license that company information holds here. Profile creation does not depend on the license. You can create a n number of profiles for one license. But
Okay.
these license will be applicable, one license equal to one user.
Okay. But user depends upon the profile.
First, we have to select the license. Based on the license only, the profile will be sorted out. Without selecting the license, you cannot select the profile.
Okay.
Swapna, usually developers, they are assigned which license?
System administrator.
No, it's a system administrator license. So it's a profile, right? System administrator is the profile. License, I'm
Salesforce
saying,
license.
Salesforce license. And what about force.com? It's for whom?
That we never use it, force.com. That's what I
Ah.
mentioned yesterday.
Okay.
Which profile has to assign this and all by client we got, right? No? Or else
Yeah, they will give us the information. Whenever we are creating the profile, they will not tell the directly which license to be applied. They will give you the scenarios. Like I need this profile, but this profile need to have only the view access. There should not be any delete option should not be there. Create option should not be there, but we need this profile just to view it. So based on their discussion, what we will try to identify is there any existing profile that will give us only view option? So there is a read only option.
okay. By that we have to clone that and we have to do customization.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
So here user license is also a mandatory field, ma'am, like when creating profiles.
Automatically it captures it. It will not ask the license, which license do you want to apply for profile? It will not ask.
Okay, whenever we want to, I mean, if we choose a particular profile, when we are creating that, user license will be automatically applied over there. You are saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
And Swapna, the read-only profile, does it have access to all the object, irrespective of standard and custom object? Just that it is read-only, or there are certain objects which are skipped in read-only profile?
Read only will have a basic objects. By default, Salesforce will give only certain objects. It will not give all the object access. Only few objects.
Okay.
If you want to make any changes to the read only, so for example, client says that, okay, I need a view information or view details for the only for few objects, not all the objects. So they say that, okay, I do not want basically case object should not be there. By default, read only will be, by default, Salesforce is giving read access to the case object or a work type. There is an object called work type. There will be a read options will be available for work type, but client says that I do not want the work type object should be visible for that user whenever they log in. So we have to customize it.
Okay. And one more thing, like in the profile itself, we have password policies, right? This is different from the one which we saw yesterday, correct?
Hold on.
Password policies.
Hold on.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so let's move on. Creating a new profile. In order to create a profile, click on a new profile. And in the profiles, as soon as you click on a new profile, what will happen? It will give you, instead of a new profile, it will tell clone profile. Here, it will, instead of a new, it will say that clone profile. Okay, what are the profile you are creating it? Enter the name here, the profile name. But you have to choose the existing. You have to choose the existing. Now, whenever you choose the existing profile, see here, the user's license will be keep on changing. If you select system administrator, automatically it captures. User license is a read only. Whenever you select this existing profile, based on that, license is also copied. Now, for example, let's go here, Salesforce. Now, if I click on new profile. So whenever I click on a new profile, first of all, the heading it will give, instead of a new profile, it will tell the clone profile. That means whenever profiles, we cannot create it from the scratch. Profiles, we cannot create it from the scratch. I can clone it, existing one. I can clone the existing one. If I say Analytics Cloud Integration User, that means my license is related to analytics. If I choose something related to the force.com, then my license will be changed to the force.com. If I select customer community login, then my license will be automatically changed to the customer login. Now, if I say existing profile as a system administrator, then license will be automatically copied from the existing one. Now, does that mean that how many licenses are there? Only those profiles can I create it? For example, in the developer org, I have a 2 license. Does that mean I can create only 2 profiles? No. There is no dependence. There is no dependent. It is just giving you, because whenever you are creating a profile, first you need to know, on high level, you need to know which functionality. First, you need to know which functionality of the access that it needs. If I know the functionality, then I can able to give the access at the object level. Then only I can give access at the object level, right? The functionality, who is going to tell us? The functionality is given by the license. License is going to tell me the what functionality should this is available. If I'll take a Salesforce license, that means a full access. If I take a community license, that means it is specific related to the community functionality. For the community functionality, we need a profile. That profile should have a certain level of access at the object level. So that's the reason profile and licenses are linked. But it doesn't depend on that how many profiles can I create it for the single license. No, you can create as many as, because at the high level, you need to understand, okay, I'm creating the profile here. I'm creating the profile, but what functionality that this profile should be linked to it? Which profile? What functionality this profile should be linked to it? There are different functionalities we have, right? This profile, which functionality should it be linked to it? So everything, that's the reason whenever we select a profile, whenever we create a profile, it will ask an existing profile. From the existing profile, it will capture the functionality that by default Salesforce has given. What are the profiles we have it? For example, we have a profile, system administrator profile. This is system administrator profile. System administrator profile. And there is another one, which is a very low access. System admin is very high level access. There is another one, which is called as a minimum access. There is a profile called minimum access. If you go back to the profiles, minimum Salesforce access will be there. That is a very less minimum access Salesforce, which is a very less access will be there for that. So this is very high level. This is at the high access. That means if I give a system admin, anybody can access, anybody can do anything. Minimum access Salesforce is nothing but it's a very low level license. Now client gave me the requirement. Certain requirement they have given. Now I have to choose based on the client requirement. I have to choose it based on the discussion with the client. Whatever the access they are asking, in between this, we have a certain profiles. In between this, we have a certain profile this. So which profile is actually nearest to the client requirement? I have a client requirement, certain requirements are there. Okay, there is an account only create. It should be only create option should be there. And rest all only read-only options. Account only create option, and then assume that lead also should be create. Okay, I need these two objects create, rest all should be the read-only access. This is the client requirement. Based on the client requirement, I need to find out which profile is actually matching with the client requirement. If I feel that between these high and low, between these two, is there anything which I feel that there is a nearest one? So I feel that read-only profile is there. There is a read-only profile. Maybe the read-only profile is the nearest one. Maybe I need to make some changes. So what I'll do is, I'll take this read-only, I'll take the existing as a read-only, and I'll create a new profile. After creating the new profile, I'll make a changes as per the client requirement. Clear? Okay, so let's move on.
Swapna, I had one question.
Yes.
We have the additions, right, in Salesforce, developer and this one, developer edition and unlimited edition. When we say unlimited edition, okay, so does it mean I can have n number of licenses without paying any additional cost?
For every addition, there is a specific license are allocated.
Oh, okay, even for unlimited.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Unlimited also should have a user license. Salesforce license is 314 or 400 license they can put. But based on the discussion between the company and a Salesforce, if they wanted to increase it, they can increase it.
Okay.
So let's assume there is a requirement. Subject is create a new profile called Tata Sales Admin. There is a company called Tata and they wanted to create a sales admin. Now description is a create a new profile, Tata Sales Admin, where this profile should have following access. Okay, we will receive the access Salesforce Lightning application. They are saying that they wanted to see Salesforce Lightning application and they wanted to see marketing Lightning application. What does that mean? Now, when you go here and click on this app launcher, right? When you click on this app launcher, click on a view all. Right now, you can see multiple applications, Samskar IT, Digital Experience, Salesforce, Bolt, Lightning user. But what they are saying, they just want a sales Lightning application and marketing application. They just wanted to see these two applications. Rest, what are the applications are there, they don't want to see. That means what are the new profile that I'm creating it? What are the new profile I'm creating it? If I assign the new profile to the user, that user, whenever they click on the app launcher, they should be only seeing the applications, marketing application, sales Lightning application. These all, whatever is there, these all, they should not be seeing these applications. They should not be seeing these applications. Now that is the requirement. Now how to create a profile? So whenever we are creating a profile, let's go ahead. Click on new profile. Okay, so this time I'm going to take a system administrator profile, Tata. Sales admin. Okay, I'll click on save. I have just created the custom profile called Tata Sales Admin. Now let's go back to the. Now, whenever you create it, you see here name is Tata Sales Admin, user license is Salesforce, and this is a custom profile. Who has created? DEC batch has created and modified. This is about the profile details. This is about profile details. Now, if you go to the profiles, the main screen, now you can see here how many custom. If you sort it with the custom, you can see all the custom ones here. So the Tata one which is available, which we have edit, delete, clone. I can edit it. I can delete this custom one. I can clone the custom one. I can clone the custom one. Now, when we edit it, okay, so for example, I wanted to, so while creating it, you cannot see any other option. While creating, only one option it will give. What is the existing profile? Choose that. And what is the new profile name? Give the new profile name. That's it. Click on save. The profile will be created with the copy of the existing profile. With the copy of the existing profile. That means these all information, whatever we are seeing in the, whenever we click on edit, those options you will not see while creating the new profile. It will just ask, what is the existing profile? What is the new profile? So as soon as you give that, it will copy the existing as it is, and it will create the new profile with the new name. Now let's go to the Tata Sales Admin. Let's click on edit. So when we click on edit, the first thing we will see is custom app settings. Custom app settings are nothing but block the users from accessing particular custom applications in your organization. That means we have a different application, different custom applications. If I do not want this profile, whoever is accessing this profile, I do not want them to see, say, this is the default, okay? And I do not want them to see the Salesforce chatter, Salesforce scheduled app, no, I do not want. Samskar ID, no. Services, I'm removing all the custom applications, whatever we have. So this is the Salesforce Lightning. So let's keep this. And take out this queue manager, marketing, yes, we need it, Lightning, digital, data management, content, community, everything I'm removing it. All tabs also I'm removing it. Now all tabs, let's keep it. Now I'll remove this. So this is the requirement. The requirement is they do not want to see any custom app. They just want the sales and marketing. By default, I'm selecting the default option. So custom app setting has two options, visible, default. When you check a visible, it will be visible. Now default is nothing but by default, when you open your Salesforce or by default, if you wanted to redirect, for example, here I'm selecting some object. Whenever I select the object, where the default application should go. So it should go to the sales. So that is the option. Now I'm selecting the save. I'm clicking on save button. I'm clicking on save button. Now what I'll do is we have a user that we have created yesterday. So I'll go to the user. the one which we have created, the user. I'll take this. What I'll do is edit. Now I'll edit this user, and first I will apply the system administrator. First I'll apply system admin. Okay, there is already one is there. Let's deactivate the other one. Okay. System admin profile. Okay, I'll change this Ram Gopal. I'll deactivate this user. Click on save and refresh this page. When I refresh it, I can see right now Salesforce. I'm applying the system administrator. Okay, click on save. Now let me log in as this person. Login.salesforce.com. And the password, login. Okay. And did I change anything on that user yesterday? lm@gmail.com. .dev. Let's say Salesforce CRM #123. Okay, so what I'll do is reset password. I'll click on reset password. Okay. So I should be receiving an email for resetting the password. Okay, I have received this password, reset the password. Now I'll click on this. It will take me to the reset password. I'll open that. So let's click on reset password. Okay, so let's give some password here. Okay, I'm able to log in perfectly fine. I'll close this. Okay, so now when I click on this, view all. Right now, what happened, this user is able to see all the custom applications because right now, this user is a system admin. Now, what I'll do is, I'll change the profile. I'll go back to the user. Right now, this is a system admin. So I'll change from system administrator to the data sales admin. Click on save. Now I have updated the profile for this user. Now let me refresh. Right now I'm logged in as the same user. The user is the same user here. Now let's go back, refresh. So what happened? Click on it, view all. Now I can see only 2 apps, marketing, sales. Rest all the apps were not visible by this user because I have removed the access. Where I have removed it on the profile level, custom app. On the profile level, we have an option called custom app settings. Right? By using the custom app settings, I have removed all the access related to the custom, what are the applications we have, I have removed it. I have removed all the access. That is the custom app setting. Now the second one which we have here, tab setting. Tab setting, what is this tab setting? Tab settings are basically if you wanted to specify whether the tab should be visible in the app or not. That means, do you want that particular tab setting should be available in the navigation, or when you click on a view all apps, you wanted to see those tab or not. So tab setting has three options. Default on. Default on is nothing but the tab appears in the app's navigation bar. The navigation bar, whatever we see here, if you see the navigation bar here, account, opportunity, lead, task, course, these are the navigation bar. If you want by default on, so the task is there, I want the by default on it. So if you want to put default on is nothing but it will appear directly whenever you open the Salesforce application. And the second option is default off. Default is nothing but it will not show on the navigation bar. It will not show on the navigation bar, but it is available in the app launcher. When I say app launcher is nothing but here, I cannot see the task. If I say default off, that means I cannot see here. But when I go to the view all, I can see the task. And the third one is a tab hidden. Tab hidden is nothing but the tab is not available in the app launcher as well as the navigation. Both the ways we are hiding the tab. That means user is not able to view either in the navigation bar or the if you go to the view all also. If you go to the view all. So now, for example, I do not want to see the task. I do not want to see the task on the navigation bar. So what I'll do is I'll go to my org. This is my org where I am in the DEC batch. This is. So I am in the DEC batch. Now what I'll do is we have a tab called task. So here it is task. When I say default off, when I say I'm saying the default off. Before it was default on. Right now I'm saying the default off. When I say default off, let's click on save. Now I'm going back to the user. Okay, this user still associated with the same profile. So let's refresh. Now I cannot see here task anymore. I cannot see the task anymore. But if I go to the view all, if I go to the view all, am I able to see here task? There is a task is available. But if I say tab hidden, if I say there is another option which is called tab hidden. If I say tab hidden, then I cannot see the particular object anywhere. Not even navigation bar or not even all view all also I cannot see. So right now I have set the tab hidden. So click on save. I'll just refresh. Now task is not available here. And if I click on view all, it's still taking time. Okay, I cannot see here. Right? So after the S, T will come. So I cannot see the task anymore. I cannot see task anymore. So tab hidden is nothing but we cannot see that particular tab anywhere. We cannot even find it. That means user will not be able to find anywhere if we say tab hidden. So 3 options, tab hidden, that means it is not available in entire application. Default off, that means it is not available in the navigation bar, but you can find it in the all apps. And default on is nothing but by default it is on. Right? This is in the lightning. Whatever I have shown you here, it's in the lightning. Similarly, in classic also, classic, if you switch to the classic. So in classic, where can I see? In classic, if you say default off, we have an option called here all tabs, right? If you say default off is nothing but you can see here, the task will be appearing here. If you say default off. Yes, any questions?
Swapna, now suppose a user is given access to only marketing. Okay. So marketing means marketing app doesn't have access to account object, right? Correct. So, but what is that? In the tab, account is still visible. Okay. So this scenario is fine? Is this the correct scenario? This is possible?
Okay, so whenever we are giving, so one thing I just wanted to mention, whenever we are specifying any access here, whatever in the profile level we have, every section, custom app setting, tab setting, whatever you see here, everything is dependent on each other. Now, if you say here marketing, I'll check it, but I'll remove all the marketing related object. That does not make any sense. So each one of them are linked to each other. Now, when you say marketing, give the access related to the marketing. Now, if you say here, I'll give the access or I will say tab hidden or default on cases, services. I'll hide everything except the cases solution. So if you hide everything related to the here and you are enabling only the cases solution and you are checking here the marketing, that does not suit. So whatever we are doing in the profile level, even whatever the access, each one of them are connected to each of us. Like custom app is connected to the tab setting is connected to the custom app. You cannot, this is not a separate, everything is linked each other.
Yeah, no, but suppose now I have chosen marketing as my app, okay, and I have hidden all the tabs, and only cases tab is visible, okay. So in that case, see, marketing is not connected to cases, right? So suppose such a scenario is there, so cases can still be accessed, or it will give
First of all,
error.
client will not give that scenario.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm a fresher. I did some mess here, in profile setting. So in such a case, can I test, or does Salesforce allow this thing?
We will
Or
not
it
get
will.
such a requirements. If I do not have the requirements, I'll not be touching the profile.
Mm.
Ma'am,
It will be possible, right, ma'am?
You are playing dump there. In that case, it is possible, but you are misusing the Salesforce.
Yes, I understood, but it will be possible, right? I mean, that won't be any case.
Are you able to access the cases when you go to the marketing cloud? If yes, marketing, Let's switch to the marketing app. Okay, here in the navigation bar, I cannot see the cases. Now here cases is there. Will I be able to access the case? But I am in the marketing, but what I am doing here in the case? Right now, all the objects can be accessible everywhere. Sales Cloud. Can I access the cases in the Sales Cloud? Yes, but you will not have that kind of a requirement in the real time. When you are implementing a Sales Cloud, why are you working on the Service Clouds objects? Yes, any other questions?
Ma'am, we put the task into default off. It is not showing in our page, but it is showing in the all apps. I mean all tasks. Can we open that and use it?
Yes, you can open it.
Okay, it is not showing on the page. That's it, right?
Yes, you can open it. So for example, default off. Let's click on save. Now let's refresh. And click on view all. Task. You can open up the task. Okay, so here you can see all the open tasks. If you wanted to create, you can create a new task. Everything, the actions will be performed. Anything you can.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm having a doubt. Like as you said, there are the 38 standard profiles, right? Like what Salesforce have given by default. Like in that, you said like there are 3 custom profiles out of those 38. So, like, can we delete that?
Yes.
Okay, but you said that standard profiles won't be get deleted, right?
That is not a standard profile. That is a custom profile. That's what I have mentioned in the.
Okay.
So out of 38, 4 are custom profiles.
4. Okay. So like standard profiles can't be deleted, but custom profiles can, right?
Yes.
Okay. By default, like 34 is standard. Standard ones, and 4 of them were custom.
Yes.
So, okay. Thank you. And having another doubt, like they have given some requirement to access this, to access that, but we don't know like which profile to choose. So in that case, can we take that read only, and we can like give it some permissions like what client requires?
You can take any nearest one.
Okay, nearest.
In case if you are not aware of that, then better you have to have a clarity. You can take the read only and you can give a access, but there are certain general permissions or admin permissions also play certain roles. We are yet to go through that.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to see what kind of a profile you have to give.
Okay.
And as an experienced person, we should have a clarity on 38, at least whatever the 12 profiles are there, or 30 profiles, standard profiles are there. We need to have a clarity. So it is not only the custom app tab setting, there are other ones also there. So for example, if I go to the edit this, okay, now I have a custom app setting, tab setting, we are clear on that. Now moving further, I have a administrative permission. Administrative permission. This administrative permissions also depending on the tab, custom apps, everything. Okay. Now, administrative permission. What are the administrative permissions basically? So all the admin permissions, everything related to the admin permissions, you will be holding it here. What is that means? So basically, if you wanted to handle sharing, or if you wanted to hold of the sharing up APIs, if there is any related APIs, REST services, or if you wanted to related the charter, or if you want anything related to, like, if you remove this, modify all. So what will happen? It will, what are the emails or everything, you cannot have a modify all. Or if you unselect this, you cannot modify it. You cannot modify any data. So this is a very critical one. So everything you can select it here. Password never expires. If you select this, okay, so whatever the passwords that you have, password policies, it will override the password never expires. And all the admin related IP restrict and everything you can do here. View all data. If you uncheck view all profiles, if you view all users, that means for now what this user has, if this user go to the setup and this user, what are the data sales admin user is there, this user, when he go to the setup and when he click on a user profiles, then let's go to the home and users, and let's click on the users. Now, right now, this user is okay. So right now, this user is able to see all the users here. What are the users are there? He can see. And if you click on a profile, he can see all the profiles. Now, if I uncheck, so right now, this person is able to see all the profiles, right? He has the access to edit, clone, everything. All the access, he can view everything. If I remove this all profile, that means the user will not be able to see all the users, all the profiles. So whomever we are assigning this profile to, the user will not be able to see all the profiles or all the users. Like this, we have a certain very admin level access. So if you take a read only, some of them access you might not see. Some of them access you might not see. So that's the reason we have to have a clear understanding on the profile. Whenever we get the requirement from the client, we have to have a clarity which profile meets the nearest one. If you, for example, if you take a read only one, which is a minimum license, okay, if you take this minimum license one, but client is saying this, now you don't know which profile is applied to this, you don't know which profile is applied to this. So what you will do, minimum access you will do. But when you take a minimum access, copying the existing, cloning the minimum access and creating the new profile, how much effort you have to put it in order to work this? Lot of effort, probably 1 day or 1.5 days you have to spend in order to make your profile stabilized. But if you know that based on this requirement, what are the profiles are actually suitable, you can easily use the existing one. Hardly 1-2 hours you have to spend it, 1 hour maximum you have to spend it in order to make it that new profile to work. Right? So that's the reason we need to have a clarity on the each profile that comes with the experience. Right now, you will not get it. But definitely, if you have a experience, you will be knowing that what kind of it, because these administrative permissions are really very sensitive. Administrative permission, general user permission, very sensitive. And here we have a password policies. If you do not want to manage the user whoever is logged in, he can see the password policies. Now I do not want that user to see the password policies, so uncheck this. So what will happen? The user will not be able to see those information. Now right now I have removed the access to the view profile and view profile, view all users. Now I have removed it. I'll click on the save button. Let's go and refresh this. Will take some time. Okay. So administrative profiles will take some time. It will not impact immediately. And along with the administrative permission, there is another one which is called as a general user permission. So general user permissions are nothing but it's basically, for example, lead conversion. Whenever the lead is created, you wanted to convert the lead. When we are converting the lead, we need to have the lead will be converted to the account, contact, and opportunity, right? Now, in that case, I don't want this user to perform any lead conversion. I don't want this user to perform any lead convert. So in that case, you can remove the option called convert lead. Yeah. So if you uncheck this, what will happen? This user will not be able to convert it. Now, if I go right now, if I go to the Salesforce and if I create any lead. So all open leads. For example, this is converted. Let's take anything. Okay, this is working. So right now, if I click on this, I can see the convert button is there. Now, if I uncheck that, convert lead is unchecked. So as soon as I uncheck this, what will happen? The button will go away. You cannot able to convert it. You cannot able to convert. It takes some time to reflect these user permissions, administrative permissions, because Salesforce has to do something at the back end. Okay, so let's go on to the lead. Okay, so here we have a lead. Perfect. If I click on here, there is a no convert button. But if I select this, here also I have a converted. So if I select converted, what will happen? Closed converted. Now I click on save. What will happen when I click on converted? It is converting it. But will I really converting it? Is it really converting the lead? Is it really converting the lead? Right? I cannot see anything related to that lead, right? So here the path is showing, it is giving me the option to convert, but does it really converting the lead? This David Monaco, is there a contact for that? You will not see the contact related to the David. New this week. Right? So new this week, I cannot see anything. So it is not a truly converting the lead. There is a button, I clicked on the button, but it did not convert anything. As per the Salesforce functionality, when we click on a convert, account, contact, opportunity has to be created. But I do not see any of them. I do not see any of them. I cannot see any of them. So lead is not actually converted. It is just saying that term is saying, but there is no, I cannot find anything. So Salesforce functionality does not work. If I uncheck, the Salesforce functionality does not work. So that is something related to general user permissions, not only the convert lead. For example, we have a email options. So in general convert, Okay, there is an option called email, mass email, right? Send email, single email. If I uncheck this, automatically the mass email will get unchecked. That means right now, wherever I'm seeing the email options, probably in the opportunity, if I open the opportunity here, okay, here we have an email. Okay, now what will happen if I uncheck that? Now I'm unchecking the email. Click on save. Now let's refresh. Right, the email has gone. Now this user does not have a option to send an email. There won't be option called sending email. So this user cannot send an email. So each and every checkbox is playing a certain role in whatever the users are doing it. So that's the reason profile is nothing but what user can do, what user can perform. So each and every checkbox is having a certain access level, certain level of access. So that's the reason when you are copying the profile, understand the client requirement, because you might be able to handle the tab custom apps, but how about admin? How about general user access? How about this general user permissions? How about this administrative permissions? These are the key one. It is very hard to identify because sometimes you have to spend, you feel that, okay, you have created the profile perfectly fine after spending the 2 days of time. Then you gave it to the QA testing. QA has to test it entire functionality from the scratch to the till the end. Now, when the developer tested in terms of the tab, app access, record access, data access, these they will test it. But when QA tested, the QA will be testing it, all the functionality, what are the access, everything they will be testing it. Now, after testing it, they will find out that, okay, this person has a certain access, it should not be there. Now, once that bug comes back to the developer has to debug a lot. Profile debugging is very difficult, in which I had gone through initial stage, because certain access stays in the general user permissions. It is very hard to identify which option is actually playing that role to show that particular options or a particular topics or a knowledge sharing. So we have in Salesforce, knowledge sharing is there. Now, if I do not, the users should not be seeing the knowledge article, but the knowledge article is visible. So, right? Or they should not be seeing the omni channel. So it is that time it is very difficult to identify when it is a critical situation that we have to deliver it today only that profile. And QA found the solution that they are seeing the extra additional access, where customer said based on the client input, user is able to access more information. They have a lot of access is there. So we should not be having those many access. Now you have to spend another 1 day. So that critical will be again escalated. So that's the reason it is very important to know which profile has to be copied, or better spend a lot of time. If you don't know, test it everything before you move into the QA. So that is what here in general user permissions are mainly deal with the emails, leads, knowledge article, app exchange. If we do not want to show us the app exchange, those information, everything related to the permissions for the users will be sitting into the general user permissions. And next we have a standard object permission.
Swapna,
Yeah.
just now you showed us the lead conversion, right? So wherein the user is able to convert the lead, but it was not visible in the content, this one account. So in that case, like, is it is there any way that convert will be hidden, or in such scenario, the developer has to do something, or
They
it's
have to
default?
check this.
Sorry.
You have to check this convert leads.
No, I'm
functionality.
not saying this. I'm not saying this. I'm
Mm.
saying that those labels are there, right? I mean, stages are there. This path is there. In that, we can hide the convert.
Yes, you can hide it. You can remove this path. Whatever the path is there, you can remove. This is a component. This is a single
Okay.
lightning component. You can remove it.
So this path is customizable for each profile. That is possible, right?
Not each profile. Not each profile. This is a page level. This is a lightning experience page.
Yeah.
Okay. This experience page. What are the components should be decided by the edit page.
Mm. Okay. So now if such.
This is business process.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is now if such a requirement comes, like we should not.
You have to click on the edit page, remove this path. This is a path where you can modify it. Go to the lightning builder, lightning experience. And if you have removed the access for the user for the lead convert, then it is no point of showing the path. So you can come to the edit page, remove that path from there. That is basically a component which will show the path.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So
all those pages were single components or like a combined one?
Do you see the background between the each component? You see the background, right?
Yes.
So that means they are each single component.
So, okay. So we can
So
keep like whatever which is required.
Yes. You can create this path for any object that is a process that defines the process. Whether you can create this path for opportunity, lead, codes, wherever you see the stages, wherever you see the different flow, wherever you see the stages flows, you can build this. So that is another topic, but this is basically a flow or a process that business wanted to implement it. So if you wanted to delete, you can delete it by going to the edit page.
okay. So the steps in creating a profile also involves editing the page layout, right?
That's up to you. Do you wanted to show that or not? If you do not want to show them, okay, you can remove the option called. There is another way of that. You can remove this closed converted option. You can remove this button. You can just show the process here. There is an option, you can just remove this button. There is an option, you can just remove this closed converted. Basically, what are these? These are the stages where we are defining it here. So we have a flexibility to modify this path also. Okay, so next one is a standard object. These are the objects, standard objects by default Salesforce is providing. So here we have an option called read, create, edit, delete, view all, modify all. Okay, so for example, if I do not want a create option for account, I do not want a user to create it. And also I do not want a user to edit it. When we remove the edit, automatically delete, modify all will go off. As soon as I say that edit, automatically the delete and modify all will go off. That means if I am not able to edit, because whenever I delete it, why the delete also going off here? Because when I delete this, when I delete a record at the back end database, what will happen? There will be a flag in the database. In the database, there will be a flag called is delete. Is delete flag will be there. So they have to set this is delete equal to true. Who will be doing that? That is the Salesforce will be doing it. As soon as I click on a delete button, immediately Salesforce will be making the changes to the record is delete equal to true. That's how they are deleting it. So that's the reason when I uncheck this edit, the delete and modify all automatically uncheck. Now, for example, I'll remove the create also. Now, I do not want to create, I do not want the user to create an account. At the same time, let's take out the cases. I do not want the cases also visible. Now, I do not want the queues to be visible. So these all are interdependent, queue parties, queue messaging, everything. I'll save this. I have removed the access to the account creation. Cases completely removed it. And queues also removed. Now let me refresh this. Click on account. Now I cannot see here account new button is not appearing. Account I cannot see. Right? So if I go here and let me check the cases. Cases, I cannot see anything here. So that will standard object will have a options read, create, edit, delete, view all, modify all. View all, modify all. For example, I just wanted to remove the modify all. I just wanted to remove the modify all for, let's take lead. Okay, I'll just remove the modify all per lead. Now what happened? I have a create, edit, delete, view all the options are there. But only thing I just remove the modify all option. I just remove the modify all option. Now let's go to the lead. Click on this. Is already there. I'll take another lead. I'll create a new one, lead. Now Padberry, company XYZ. Let's click on save. Okay, I'm able to create it and I'm able to edit it. The one which is created by me, I'm able to create, I'm able to edit, right? If I change WE, let's click on a save. So I'm able to edit and also I'm able to delete it, which is happening for the one created by me. Whoever is created, I'm able to do it. But how about the leads that are created by another user? So let's take another one. So let me take the David. Now this user, let me edit it. It is created by somebody else. Somebody else created it. Let's click on save. Delete. I can delete it. All the options are happening perfectly fine. Right? I can clone. I can modify it. This is another one. I can change owner. Right now the owner is, let's change it. Let's submit. Now I can change the owner. I can modify anything is happening here. I can share it. I can delete it. Right? I can do everything. Now, what is exactly the modify all does here? Anybody? What is the exactly the modify all does?
It gives full access to the user, the record owned by him as well as the other records owned by other user.
Okay, so right now I have removed the modify all option, but still I'm able to do everything. Right now, I have removed the modify all. The access is removed. Let me go to the profile. Standard object. Now leads, modify all, I have removed it. Okay. Now
Yeah, but we have edit and delete, right? That's why.
edit and delete is there.
Yeah, that's why.
So then why Salesforce has a modify all option? What is the difference? If I give a modify all, what is the option that I'm going to get it? Anybody, Abhishek?
We can't clone the
We can clone it. For example, all open leads. I'm taking the one which other member has created it. I can clone it and I can create another one. Last name, let's change. Save. I can create it. What is the difference that modify all is going to give us? Anybody, Abhishek, anybody who are working?
I have no idea, Sapna.
Okay. So, okay. Fine, check that and let me know tomorrow, whoever is trying for that. Yes, Ram Gopal.
Duplicates are not allowed, maybe.
Duplicates is a different rule. We have a duplicate rule. So my question is, we have a two options, view all and modify all. Okay, view all is where we can view all the records.
Okay.
Modify all, what it does?
It also allowed to delete, update, and we can perform all the
Operations, yeah.
to modify the records.
But I have removed the modify option for lead. I removed the modify, but still I can clone the record.
Not by sharing, it's not possible, maybe.
Sharing, okay. Sharing is the one. So basically modify, what it does is transferring the records or managing the record approvals. If you have any approvals or if you wanted to share or somebody else is share the record. So those things will not work here. If I do not give this option, we have to first, whatever we are sharing or transferring the record, those we cannot do. So when we are discussing the sharing settings or sharing options, that time I'll show what exactly this means.
By using modify or enable by sharing, it's not possible. No? Exactly.
Yeah, this is the interview questions. They will ask, I have a profile where we have access to the create, read, edit, delete, view all option is also there. But I don't have a modify all. I do not have a access to the modify all. Now, whether the user is able to see other records and whether the user is able to edit other records. That is a question asked in the interview. This is a question that is asked.
By using modify or enable, we have to read and create, edit, delete, remaining things we have to done. By sharing the record, we have unable to do the thing. Exactly. I think.
Yes. So,
Swapna, I did not understand. Can you please explain it again? Modify all.
okay, so we'll discuss the topic when we have a sharing, but the question might come up in the interview. So
Yeah.
if I have a view all option, if I do not have a modify all, whether the user is able to edit other records, whether user is able to delete other records, whether user is able to view other records and edit it. The answer is yes, they are able to edit the records of the others. Though they do not have a modify all options, but still they are able to edit the records for the one which another person has created. So for example, now I have records here, 2 records are there. This is the user 1, created 1 record. User 2 created another record. Okay, the interview question will be, now I have a view all checked and modify all unchecked. Okay. Now the question they will ask, I have this kind of a configuration on a lead. Now my question is, they will ask a question. The question is, whatever the other user has created, will this user is able to edit, modify the record, the one which this user has created? So the answer is yes, they are able to edit their records, they are able to edit others' records also.
They are able to do so if we edit and delete is also selected, right? Along with view all.
Yes, they can delete it other records.
By using modify all, we cannot delete, update, no sharing record, other member.
Yeah, so here what they are saying is, this is happening, transfer all the records for the object, share all the records for the object, administrator records in the approval process. Now, for example, this user is modify all is not there. Now I'm going to share the record. Okay, so right now, okay. This is the other way. For example, the another user has shared. This user is having a certain access. Okay. Right now, whatever this user is created, the record. Okay, now this user is not able to see. Basically, they do not have a admin access. Here in our case, we have a admin access, right? So, but these 2 users are not admin access. This user has a, what are the records are created by him, he can see, and what are the records are created by this user, only that user can see. Now, what this user is, he will share the record. Okay, he will share the record to U1. Now, this concept will come later. I don't want to discuss right now because that is completely a sharing part. It will be confused. Now, I'll discuss that later point because that is diverting it, everything. Okay, so modify all we'll see later. But if user is having a similar to the sales license, then the user is able to edit, delete, whatever they want, they can do it. Now the next one we have session setting. Session setting is basically how many minutes or hours of a inactive elapse. That means, for example, you switched on the system and you logged into the Salesforce, but it's almost 2 hours. After 2 hours, you wanted to disconnect the session. So the timing you can mention in the session settings. So in the session settings, there are 2 fields are there. In session setting, there are 2 fields are there. So at what time you wanted to keep this org active? After 2 hours inactive, or after 30 minutes deactivated or inactive session timeout. That means after 30 minutes, as soon as you come and refresh this org, it will say that disconnected. So that setting will be available in the profile level. This is whoever the user is connected to this profile. If this is set as a 15 minutes, that means if the user is away, this profile related user is away, what they will do after the 15 minutes, the session is automatically disconnected. Now you have to re-log in. When you re-log in, if you want a high security, that means you wanted to apply certain security levels. If you want to apply certain security levels, then you can kind of a multi-factor authentication. So in that case, when you are re-logging in, you want a password, and also the another PIN code should be, you will be receiving a PIN code in your mobile, right? So multi-factor authentication, you are logging in as well as it needs another code, whether you are receiving an email, the code, the 5-digit code, or you will be receiving a SMS, 5-digit SMS. So multi-factor authentication will be applied when you log in. If you select high assurance, usually it will be none, because we will not be asking any multi-level security when we re-log in real time. And the next one, we have a password policies. Now, yesterday we have seen the password policies on the org level. On the org level, we have a password policies. Similarly, at the profile level also, we have a password policies. So we can specify the password requirements with the password policy settings for the user assigned to a profile. What it will happen if you set here, for example, my org password policy is a 90 days. Now, if I set here 30 days, will my org password expiry will work, or will my profile expiry will work? Your profile password policy will override the existing org password policy. Your profile password policy will override the org password policies. Right? So always it's a higher one. These password policies are higher one. Now, in case if you have not changed anything in the password policies, it is similar to the what org is there. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. But if you want your password policy should be different from the org, then apply password policies for this profile. It will override the org password policies.
And Swapna, the same thing, there is something called session settings also. It is at org level and profile level as well. So the profile will take the highest
Override.
priority, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so in case if you do not have anything here, that means if it is a similar to the org one and password, it will be definitely the org one will be work here. So if you have not done any setting, any changes, no settings is done here, then that's fine. It is similar to the org password. Now, this is when we edit. This is when we edit it. So these options we can see when we edit. But when I view the profile, I'll see few more information. editing available only when I edit the profile, it is available only custom apps, tab settings, standard object, general user permission, administrative permissions, and then we will see the security and password policies. These options only we can see in the edit profile. But when I view the profile, the view, you will see more options like a page layout. Page layout is which layout is assigned to this particular profile. And you will see few more information, field level security. Field level security is nothing but when this user is logged in. When this user is logged in, when user goes to the detail section. Now user is able to see all the fields, whatever the fields are there in the object. I can see all the fields here. For example, now I do not want number of employee field should be displayed to this lead. Right? I do not want to show this field at all. That means I do not want this field edit, delete, whatever the edit or view. I don't want this field at all for this user. So I just wanted to remove the access for the number of employees. In that case, what we will do is we will go to the object. There is an object called lead object. So click on this lead object. When you click on the lead object, here, try to find out which one is here. So this is the number of employees. So number of employees, if I wanted to remove the read access and edit access. Now, if I remove the edit access, the user will not be able to edit, but they can read it. But in case if I remove read and edit, they will not be able to see anything. They will not be able to see anything. So now if I save this, now I have removed the read access, edit access for the specific field. Before the user was able to edit it. Now if I cancel it, if you click on refresh, so if I go to the details and I cannot see number of employees field. Now, for example, if I say read, only read, let's give the read access and number of employees, read access. I'm not giving the edit access. So what will happen? User will be able to see the field and the value, but user will not be edit the field. User will not be edit the field. If I go to the detail section, number of employees, let's refresh. Let me switch to the classic. And let's go to the same lead. Now, number of employees, right? Number of employees is visible. Why it is showing edit? Did I give the edit access? Wow. So I have removed the edit access, but still it is allowing it. Why?
Is it because lead has modify all?
No, modify all is, we have removed it for the lead.
You can refresh now first.
This is a strange. Oh. Okay, so number of, is it on the lead level first of all? Yeah, lead field. Number of employees, number read access, edit access is not there. Let me try another field. Let's click on edit.
So no, you're not checking for DEC batch user, right? You're logged in as Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I have logged in as. Yeah, this is a DEC one. Yeah. So let's refresh.
Oh, can you change it for?
Sorry.
Can you change edit like phone?
Edit the phone.
Okay. Let me log out and log in back. Let's go to the lead.
Then edit.
Mm. Oh, this is a strange. Okay, let me try another object, account. Did we change anything on the administrative user level? Probably. Let's do one thing. Let me create a new profile. New profile. Let's take a system administrator. So let's take data sales team. Let's click on save. Now let's go back to the field level. Field level account. Let me change edit. Let's take out something description. Let's remove the edit access. D and company also edit access is removed. Employees edit access is removed. Click on save. Now what I'll do is I'll update the user profile. So, okay, I'll update this user profile from the data sales admin to data sales team. Let's click on save. Now let's go back to this person. Let's do hard refresh. Okay. Now click on edit. Fine. So what are the options that we have removed it? Account level,
DNB company.
description.
DMZ.
I can able to edit. Okay, something is happening. What is the wrong? Okay, we'll see that tomorrow. I need to see what is happening there. But ideally, when we remove the edit access, user will not be able to edit. It's just a view access. Okay. Yes, just hold on. If you're not able to understand, that is perfectly fine. But I just wanted to try one thing. Okay, so now let's go back to the profile. Okay, the one which I have created is custom description. Edit. Click on this checkbox. Save. So what I'm trying is I just created the custom one instead of trying on the standard one. So I have created the custom field, which is called custom description. Okay. Okay, so we'll see this edit read access. We need to see what is happening. But till this point, any questions on? Okay, so we were discussing about when we view the profile. When we view the profile, we can see additional information, which is called page layouts, field level security, and along with the field level security, you can see the few more options which are called record type settings. We have not discussed the record type settings. And also apart from this, there is a few options which is called, yeah, these are login hours, login IP range. Login hours is nothing but if we want a certain timing, the user has to log in. So morning 8 to the evening 8. I won't strictly follow the hours. In that case, what we can do is we can add a hours when the user should be logging in. So you have a Monday to Friday office. So Monday to Friday, what is the timing they should start their hours? So between the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. only allow them to log into the Salesforce. If they are trying to log in after the 5 p.m., then do not allow them to log into the Salesforce. So that we can set it into the login hours, which is called login hours. On the profile level, we'll have a login hours. In the login hours, you can set it up timings to log into the particular org. And next one, we have a IP range. So here we have to This is usually with companies will be there. So for example, if I'm implementing, or if the company has given the laptop, okay. So if I want, the user has to be login within the certain IP address. So certain IP address are starting is 00 and end is 25. This is the number 255.255.255.255. So this is the end API address. This is the start API address. So between this IP address, if anybody is trying to talk to this org, then only allow, otherwise do not allow. This is mostly used in terms of API integrations. In case if any integration which is talking to your org, and if you wanted to restrict the IP address, if I'm hearing the communication from the certain IP address, then only talk to this org, otherwise do not talk. So some companies will define the IP address between the 0 to 255. So whatever the between the 0 to 255, if we are trying to log in using that credentials, then only it will log in. Otherwise, we will not be able to log in. This is the IP range. And next we have a enabled Apex class. So this is useful. This is useful in case if you wanted to share certain Apex classes, or you wanted to share Visualforce pages access, or you wanted to share the external data sources or named credential custom meta. We have not discussed the custom metadata custom setting, but Visualforce or Apex classes, if you wanted to share with the users, okay, the users by default not get the access in the real time. The users will not get by default access to the Visualforce. By default access, they will not get any access to the custom components. We have to give them specifically by clicking on this edit button, and you can move all your components here. So in real time, we will not be sharing all the pages to the users. We will be sharing only certain Visualforce pages or certain Apex classes that are useful for them. Only those pages only we will be sharing it. Others we will not be sharing it. So by default, we will not be sharing unless it is not a license of sales. If it is a user license is a Salesforce, by default the access will go. But if it is not a user license, they will not be getting any access related to the Visualforce page or Apex. Any questions on this? Okay. Next, we have a profile view. Now, profile view is basically when you go to the profiles, okay? And when you click on the profile, you will see the format of profile details, page layout, these all you will be seeing it. But there is a different way. In real time, you might see this view or you might see different view. So where do we need to handle that? So there is a configuration setup. If you go to the setup user management setting, there is an option called enable profile user interface, enhanced profile user interface. When you say enhanced profile user interface, if you enable this, the view of the profile gets changed. The view of the profile gets changed. Right now, you are able to see the profile like this. Now, if I go to the user management settings, and if I change enhanced profile user interface to enable, now I'll refresh this profile. Now, if you see here, when you open the profile, you are seeing the apps. Inside the apps, assigned connected apps, object setting, app permission, Apex class, Visual Force pages, external data source access, named credentials, flow access, everything you are seeing here. And the second one, you have a system. System permissions, login hours, login IP ranges, service, provider, session settings, password policies, default, right? If you click on this login hours, it will go to the same page where you need to add the hours. But the view of the profile, right? So it will go to this page, but the view of the profile gets changed. The way how you are used to see the profile, like when you open the profile, you used to see page layout, custom apps, record types, tab setting, everything you see, right? Right now, whenever I switch on this enhanced profile user interface, the user interface view gets changed. The first section is the apps, then we have a system. In the apps, you will see all the apps related configuration. In the system, you will see all the system related configuration. Now, if I turn off that, okay, I'm turning off, and if I refresh, again the view gets changed. Right, the view has been changed. Now you can see profile page layout, custom apps, tabs, everything you can see here, field level security, everything is there. Now, the differences between the user and profile. So profile is a group or a collection of settings and permissions that define what user can do in Salesforce. Whereas user is nothing but user is anyone who logs into the Salesforce. Profile controls the object permission, field level permission, user permission, tab settings, app setting, Visual Force pages, Apex classes, page layouts, record types, login hours, and IP ranges. Whereas a user is like every user in Salesforce has a user account. The user account identifies the user and the settings and the features of the record, like what functionality the user can access, right? What kind of a user setting that user has, enable debug mode, those kind of things will be done at the user level. So far what we have seen is users. Users is any user, anyone who wants to log into the Salesforce is called a user. Whereas licenses specifies which features or functionality a user can access on Salesforce. So each user is associated with a license. And the profile is a group or a collection of settings and a permission that defines what a user can do on Salesforce. Any questions? Any questions?
Ma'am, so for particular profile, like particular license will be allocated, is it?
License is allocated, but there is a no restriction that if I have a 2 licenses, that means do I need to create a 2 profiles? No, there is no restriction for that. You can create a n number of profiles.
No, that's okay. Like when we are creating a new profile, when we will be selecting one particular profile to clone it, right? So for that, your license will be automatically allocated. I'm asking that. So for the particular profile, so that license will be allocated, or like only one license. I'm asking that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am, can we assign same profile to multiple users?
Yes. For example, we have a scenario that there are 10 users who need this profile. So So what you will do, basically you will go to the users record and you will trying to create a users and you will try to update profile for all 10 users. So let's assume that you have a users already in the system. You have a users already in the system and you just wanted to put this profile for all 10 users. So what you can do on the profile level, we have a view users button is there. So by clicking on this view user, by clicking on this view user, either you can create a new user from here on the profile level, or you can add multiple users. If I click on multiple users, you can create a multiple users. Now the license, it has to match with the what are the licenses there with the profile. What are the licenses there with the profile? Now this is a sales admin, right? So let's take a sales team. Right now I have applied this sales team to the user. So click on this view user. You can see where is the users are assigned to this profile. You can see here. So what are the actions you can do on the user level? You can do it here also. Creating the new user, reset password, add multiple users, which we can do it on the user level also. New user, reset passwords, add multiple users. Same actions can be done on the profile level also. Okay, any other questions?
Is there any relation between profile and roles?
Profile and roles, relationship is not there, relation is not there, but both has a different concept. So next session, we will be seeing the roles. That time I'll give you the difference between the roles and profile.
Okay, thanks.
Swapna, one question. This thing based on edition, is there any difference for profiles?
Addition. Okay. Standard profiles you will see exactly same. Maybe few of them you might not be able to see.
Okay.
Swapna, while creating a profile, can we clone the custom profiles also?
Yes,
Hello.
you can. For example, I wanted to clone the custom one. You can clone it.
Okay.
In real scenario, do we need do somebody will give us Excel sheet to create a profile if profile need to create from scratch? Like who will access which tab, who will access which options, something like that?
Yeah, there will be a sheet. Basically, your technical architect will be giving that. From the scratch, you cannot create it. We do not have an option to create it from the scratch, but you have to choose a minimum options that are suiting for it.
Okay.
And Swapna, when creating a profile, what all things we need to consider, apart from permissions at profile level, what are the other places where, like now page layout we saw, right? So likewise, there are other things which we have to take into consideration.
Yes, so basically, whenever we go to the profile level, the first thing is that whenever we get a requirement, the first thing we need to check with them, what are the object level access that we have to give it? That is the first thing. Once the object level is done, first we need to check object level. What are the objects that this user should be seeing it? Then we need to check field level security. What are the fields that they should have a edit access, read access? Edit, read access, which one they should be having it? That is the second thing. And is there any layout that we need this profile should be viewing only specific layout? And the second thing is that, is there any like a email actions, or is there any general user permissions? Whether the person should be able to see all the profiles, all the users, should be able to send the email. Does this person should need to send an email to anyone? And record types we have not discussed, but is there any specific record type that we need to hide it or view or show them? If you want a specific profile there, we do not want to show the certain record types, or we wanted to by default to give us the default record type. Okay, so these are the certain things which we need to see.
Swapna, what did you say for user?
Sorry.
In the things to consider, what is the point for user you said? Can you explain again, please? Yeah, user before record type. Yeah.
Whether they can see all the users.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So now let's go on. So conclusion, what did we learn so far?
Files and permissions.
Profile, standard profiles, properties of
Profile.
navigation steps to create profile. Then
Administrative permissions.
so we have seen how to create a new profile. We have seen the requirement, edit the profile. When we edit it, what will happen when we view the profile? What are the options we can see? And how can we see the profile view different views? And what are the difference between a user and a profile? And we have seen user profile license. Modify all, I'll cover it tomorrow. Let me take it up, the modify all option. And also I'll see edit and read access, why it is not working. Okay, questions, why can't we delete the user in Salesforce?
If you
By
delete
using-
the user, the entire data.
Data developed by the particular user.
Entire data records are deleted. By using inactive, we have to records was saved. Then after we have to use that records.
Right. What are different type of profiles?
Standard and custom.
Standard and custom.
How to change profile view in Salesforce?
Edit.
Enable profile views.
Enhanced,
In setup, user
management settings, enable this.
enhanced profile user interface, we need to enable or disable. What are the differences between the user and profile?
User is a person who log in. Profile is the set of permissions what user can perform. And profile can have multiple users, and but a user can have same one profile.
Okay. Create a new profile, DMart admin. It's a copy of the system admin. License is a Salesforce license. Access is Sales Lightning application. Remove access to the case object. Remove convert lead option. Assign this profile to the system admin user which created yesterday. Yesterday I gave you one homework to create a user, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So assign this profile to that user. This is the homework one. And the second one is create a new profile, CEO read only, copy of read only profile. Remove the object access of work type, work orders, entitlement, complete access, remove it. Assign this profile to the system administrator user that is created yesterday, and see how the navigations is happening it. Okay, not only creation, after creating it, try to play with that, what are the access you are giving it. By logging into that user, try to play with that and see what all things are happening. And this is the trial head for the protect your data in Salesforce. What are the different ways you can protect your data? Okay, that's all for today.